Hello. Welcome to Moment of Clarity. No, shit, damn it. Welcome to the Common Censored live stream. I'm Lee Camp.
I'll just be leaving then.
No, this is Eleanor Goldfield, who has just left and and is not coming back. No, come back. And yes, well, she sneaks back in. Welcome, everybody. Please take a minute to share this and let people know. Welcome to, as Cornell West calls, the glorious pushback, the wonderful pushback, fighting back against all of the oppression, all of the extraction of the wealth and our lives by the the ruling elite. And I got to hit go live on Rockfin because I always forget.
Everyone watching on Rockfin did not just see that beautiful monologue.
No, they might still, because it does kind of like starts a few seconds ago. So thank you guys. Welcome. We got a lot for you today. Please take a moment to share this. As I said, all of the donations in the super chat are going today to you, people out there who have needs, who are struggling. We did the same thing last week. All of the donations, all the proceeds went to those who are in need, a kind of form of virtual mutual aid. What's the expression? Solidarity, not charity.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our solidarity with you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time.
Thanks so much, everyone, for donating to our community here. And y'all did incredible. And raised, what was it, like $600? So
over $600 to go to people in need. And we're going to describe a little more those people who benefited from your amazing generosity last week. But we want to get into some stories as well. And figured we'd start off with the COVID relief bill, which is important. It is much of what's in it is needed. It's just passed the Senate, by the way. I believe it now goes back to the House, and they have to approve it, which it seems likely they will. And so that's where it stands. And I'm not saying that much of the stuff isn't needed. Like the people who will get the $1,400 checks probably really need those $1,400 checks. But yet again, not a surprise, it is not addressing the core issues of our society, the core issues of why people are struggling out there, the core issues of why, it has a lot of money in there for like education. And yet it and our government will not address the racist wealth gap in our education, or the racist funding gap, I should say. More heavily Black and brown schools are not funded nearly as well. There's a multi-billion-dollar funding gap. So that type of thing, and the way our education is centered in general, it's centered around creating, beautiful cogs to go into this system and become great consumers and that type of thing. And that doesn't mean every teacher is, but it means in general, the system is like, here's how to pay attention and sit still in a wooden desk for 7 hours straight. Now you are a good citizen because you've shut up, you've lost your individuality, and you now will obey. That's basically what our schooling teaches. But of course, they're not going to address that type of thing in this bill. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
No, I mean, I can go off on, to be clear, I have not read the bill, so please don't come to me for specifics.
3 times
about
the
bill.
Just for fun. No, I haven't. Okay.
But, and so I'm sure there will be people out there that will do really radical and important analyses about the bill specifically. Yes.
I like that one.
Very true. But yeah, I mean, there's the underlying root issues of our system are not being addressed by this bill. That's the bottom line reality, of course.
And of course, the what they promised was going to be $2,000 checks is down to $1,400 checks, means tested. So fewer people are getting it. Not a surprise that they have abandoned people on that. But perhaps one of the biggest things, of course, is abandoning people on the $15 minimum wage, which, to talk about minimum wage, I mean, for one thing, we should have universal basic income. It's not even a question. I mean, we've done these studies of universal basic income in various places, some in Canada, some in the US, certain cities, some in Denmark. It's been done again and again. It shows that people don't work less you know, which I would argue they probably should, but it shows people don't work less. It shows that children benefit immensely by not being stuck in poverty. Universal basic income instantly ends extreme poverty, basically ends homelessness, and just has major benefits to society as a whole. So we should have universal basic income, but beyond that, we need, yes, a $15 minimum wage, but it should really be more than that, because if you account for income distribution and buying power, when minimum wage was $1.65 in the early 1970s, late 1960s, that is the highest it's been, meaning the buying power and income distribution when it was $1.65 would be $21 an hour nowadays if it had kept up with that.
Yeah, no, $15 an hour is, I mean, that was barely enough 10 years ago when the fight for 15 started. So it's really, at this point, it's not even nearly enough. Minimum wage in the United States you can't afford a shitty studio apartment really, and even anywhere. I also think it's funny that you can get like tax exemptions for a mortgage, but not for rent. Mm-hmm. Really tells you something about our system, doesn't it?
Yep.
So, and of course, you know, another part of this is that there has been no cancellation of rent. The eviction moratorium is a misnomer. It's not a moratorium on evictions at all. It is at best a stay of execution, but even that is not really accurate, because landlords can still evict you. They just have to give a different reason. So they can't say, I'm evicting you for failure to pay rent. They can evict you because you smell funny, or because somebody said you're too loud. And
you smell funny
well, I'm serious. Like, as a renter, your access to, for the most part, unless you rent like a luxury apartment, in which case I don't feel sorry for you anyway. But like, for the vast majority of people, you have no legal clout. You have nothing on your side that can go up against a landlord that's like, I'm not evicting you for failure to pay rent. I'm legitimately evicting you for some other reason that is not covered by the eviction moratorium. So it's absolute bullshit. And of course, you know, for lower income people who do not have immigration status, this is particularly horrifying because there's not been a stay of execution when it comes to deportations. In fact, I can't remember what that ticker is up to, but Biden has already deported tens of thousands of people. Tens of thousands.
It was, so when they're not updating it by the day, they're updating it as they get numbers, but it was at 26,200 and I think 48. But that was like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
so it's definitely higher than that now. So yeah, these are just stacks of shit. It's shitty turtles all the way down. That people are having to grapple with in the face of potentially getting a $1,400 check. But again, you know, people that are excluded from the $1,400 check include, you know, there's a whole movement to highlight excluded workers that includes folks who don't have an immigration status, which means that you could be working your ass off, you know, like a bunch of folks who don't have immigration statuses are in all kinds of different industries, in construction, in restaurants, in farming, and all like care work in particular. And you won't get a check because you are one of the overlooked workers who doesn't count. And so there's so many gaping chasms in this bill that aren't addressed by the bill. And just the simple fact that it's like, hey, 14 plus 6 equals 20. So it's really the $2,000 we promised you. You're welcome. So yeah, that's.
Thank you, Chimchuri.
Thank you. Again, folks, all of the money that's being donated tonight via Super Chat is going to y'all. So folks have emailed commoncensored@protonmail.com just saying that they need a little extra help right now. And so all of the money that y'all are donating is going to that.
And let's, we might as well take a moment here and talk about some of the people who received your funds last week. We're not going to give their last names, but, you know, because they might like some privacy. But so these are people we continue to ask you, if you are out there and you are in need, email commoncensored@protonmail.com. We're not giving out like billions of dollars. It's like $100 a person, but for some people that's really makes a difference between making it to the next billing cycle or that type of thing. But we got a lot of thank yous that people are very thankful. I'll read
thank you, Jim. Thank you, Tony.
A couple of them. So this is from Jimmy. He says, love y'all. Thanks again. Someone else who I don't have the email in front of me, but thank you, Tony. I don't have the email in front of me,
Agree with you, Tony.
But he said that you have no idea how much impact this has, that the bills are piling up, and $100, is one less bill that was really crushing him and his family. So a lot of impressive thank yous from the people we were able to help out. Again, if you have the ability, donate here, and all the proceeds go to people who are in need. If you're in need, email commoncensored@protonmail.com, and we're going to do the best to help out everyone we can. Luckily, we were able to help out most of the people that have emailed, and we'll see if we can do the same this week. But
thank you, Sharon. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sharon. We're also we also accept donations. If you don't want to do the super chat, you can also send it to Venmo @LeeCamp, and we can take it there as well.
And for folks who are watching on Rockfin, that's also what is that?
Rockfin.com/LeeCamp is also where
oodles of way to donate, basically, is what we're saying.
Yes, indeed. But so this is our own little mutual aid experiment with the community, you guys, to be able to help out, because we don't want it to just be about those who are able to donate, have their comments highlighted, and those who are struggling have nothing. So we've tried to make it a little better here, and it's nice to be able to help out. And we are taking recommendations for topics or ideas to talk about. If you have amazing ideas you'd like to share, throw it into the comment section there. You want to talk about what anniversary today is? Is it today?
Yeah. It is today, March 7th, Bloody Sunday.
Sounds upbeat.
Right? And I
wore my best hat.
I had this like rabbit hole moment when I was walking to the mutual aid table today, and I was like, wait, it doesn't always happen on a Sunday. If it was March 7th, then it happens like sometimes on a Tuesday. Do we still call it Bloody Sunday? Then that's confusing. But yeah, I've been huffing a lot of dust recently. So just so
there's stronger things than dust. I could get you something good.
Yeah, no, you know what? I actually like it takes time, but the high is it's a slower up.
Okay.
And then a slower come down. It's not this spiking thing.
And you go mainly in the corners of the room? Is that where you find the best?
Oh no! At this point,
sources?
With all the boxes and shit everywhere, I don't even have to. I don't have to look for it. It's just around. In fact, I'm huffing it right now. No. So yes, this is the 56th anniversary of Bloody Sunday, as it was known. And it was, this is a bit of a, what's the word? Cliff's Notes version. But basically it was the reason, it was a civil rights.
Thank you, Loza.
Noe. I was thinking, like Zoe.
Sure.
That's what I was thinking.
Sure.
But, okay, so this was the march across the bridge in Selma, Alabama. If folks have seen the movie Selma, then you're familiar with the event, the action, as it were. And it was actually spurred on by events that happened in nearby Marion, Alabama, where a black man had been killed by a white Alabama state trooper during peaceful protests for voting rights. Jimmy Lee Jackson, a 26-year-old church deacon, was shot while trying to protect his mother from being hurt and died 8 days later. In response, folks in Marion and Selma gathered for a march on March 7th. This language is bananas. What the fuck? Their goal was to reach the state capitol. So there was a strong police presence, one might say,
To put it mildly.
Protesters or activists or marchers, however you'd like to categorize them, were beaten and brutalized by police, and this day has come to be known as Bloody Sunday. And I think it's like, this is in particular I feel like these kind of anniversaries are important for several reasons, but one of perhaps the biggest reasons that I think it's important is that we're still fighting this fight.
Yep.
I think a lot of folks perhaps watching this live stream can recall just recently, like, let's say last summer, when the uprisings were happening across the country, watching predominantly Black and brown protesters being brutalized by police after George Floyd was murdered. And incidentally, the jury selection in the case against the police officer who murdered him is starting tomorrow. So thank you, Dave, for pointing that out. So I think that it's important to put this in context of what we're doing today and what we're fighting for today, because history is not just some shit that happened back then. History is something. Thank you so much, Cody.
Wow, thank you, Cody.
You are not foreign agents. That is true. What's actually funny here is that I'm the only one of us who has dual citizenship, and I get called a foreign agent much less than he does.
It's true. It's true.
It's with Sweden, by the way, if that's interesting. So yeah, I think that it's important that we recognize the current nature of history, and it's the same thing with
thank you, Nancy,
with other holidays, not really anniversaries, like for instance May Day and the Haymarket riots. We're still fighting for basic labor rights, and that's something that Biden's bullshit stimulus highlights. We can't even get there was a great tweet that I said that was like $15 an hour is poverty wages. We are literally begging to be poor, and we can't even get that. So there you go. Actually, the U2 song is about a Bloody Sunday that happened in Ireland,
right?
Because there was a Bloody Sunday in Ireland.
We need to talk. We need to talk to these countries and decide different days of the week. Listen, we got Bloody Sunday. You get another one.
Well, see, the Bloody Sunday in Ireland kind of works because of the whatever. But I'm just saying, there is actually a Bloody Sunday that happened in Ireland, and that's the one that U2 is referencing. But yeah, it's a thing, apparently. The imperialist powers go to bat on a Sunday. I guess that's just their thing. So yeah, thank you, Lil. Yes, thank you. Norwegian.
Thank you, Emilil.
That's
so.
Yeah.
So Joe Biden. Thank you, Anna. So Joe Biden.
Well put, Anna. Thank you for the donation.
So Joe Biden passed his voting rights executive action today or yesterday. No, I think today, in honor of remembering Bloody Sunday. So nice look. And
that's how I feel about that.
By the way, that's the thumbnail for the video right there. And we read it. I skimmed through it, and first of all, if you read through it, it's like, and agencies across the federal government will look into whether they can register more people to vote. And,
I am mandating that possibly, maybe at some point, we'll call some folks.
There'll be a committee. There's a committee
looking into why I hate Black people so much.
Right.
And
so they're looking into it. People are looking into it. But beyond just that, whatever the thing said, even before I read what it said, I was like, it fucking doesn't matter what it said. You fucking helped rig the primary to defeat Bernie Sanders. You, along with the mainstream media, discussed nothing other than Joe Biden and defended him on every level, and fucking closed polling places in Hispanic areas in Texas to make sure Bernie couldn't win. The fucking shadow app in Iowa. The shadow app was supposed to cause chaos again in Nevada, but then they didn't use it. They in California with the provisional fucking bullshit ballots that are handed out to everybody again and again and again. We saw this primary rigged so that Biden, who had never won a fucking, he was his third time running for president, never won a fucking primary, was losing it again. All of the other candidates drop out in the same 2-day span because they're pressured by Obama. And I mean, it was just rigged on every level by the DNC, by the DNC's fucking shills and mechanisms and machinery. And then he's like, I want to make sure we have a legit voting system. At the end of all that, he steps up and goes, let's have a legit voting system. Fuck you. Fuck this fucking Democratic establishment shit show. All right. This is the most fucking hypocritical bullshit executive order ever. And I'm sure it'll be surpassed by the next one.
Yeah. I mean, it's, it is really fucking bananas. And just, I mean,
it's like Lance Armstrong putting out an executive order saying people shouldn't use drugs in sports.
I mean, not only because of the rigged primaries, but also because of his incredibly racist career as a politician. The fact that he would give a
You mean
flying...
Biden or Lance Armstrong?
I didn't know Lance Armstrong was a politician. So, I mean, it's hypocritical on both of those fronts. I mean, it's absolutely absurd.
Oh, yeah, I have to address this as well, which I did address a little bit the other day. Where is it?
Yeah.
Okay, can't find it. Someone just put up a post about HR1. Maybe it hasn't appeared yet. But anyway, HR1 is the House bill that was supposed to facilitate voting, and it had some positive things in there, but it had, as the Green Party was tweeting about, poison pills. And one of them was saying, thank you, Stephanie. Well, no, that's not what it said. Thank you, Chuck.
That's not what it said either.
Well, highlight Stephanie.
I'm
Chuck.
getting it, but if you keep entering into my space.
But within the HR1, it tripled or quadrupled the amount of money that third parties have to raise in order to make the ballot. So beyond just the number of signatures they have to get, which is thousands, it was supposed to be 5,000. You need $5,000 from donation, and they increased it to like 25,000. Basically, they're trying to make it impossible for third-party candidates to even get on these ballots. They're trying ballots. They're trying to make it as difficult as possible. Thank you, Dylan. And it just, I mean, it's hilarious that they put that within a bill to help people vote more, because the Democrats want people, as many people as possible, to vote in the general election, as long as there's not a third party that has a shot in the third party election. I mean, in the general election. So they want as many people to vote as possible, but not in the primary. And so they want to stop those third parties, People's Party, Green Party, Libertarian Party. They want to stop those parties from getting on the ballot. And so this HR1 had poison pills in there.
Yes. And the Biden's voting rights bullshit is just basically a poison pill. It's basically, it is classic Democrat, right? It is classic Democrat, which says, hey, we did this beautiful thing to boost equality, to boost, human rights or civil rights or whatever the fuck. And then it does nothing to actually address those things. And then the Democrats are like, I don't understand why people don't trust us. This is so unfair. Oh my God. Because at least the Republicans are honest. They're like, we don't want voting rights. That's awful. No. And then the Democrats say that they do. And then they pass this kind of bullshit where it's like, we will we sent a memo to people to ask them how they felt about voting rights. And then we're going to get those survey answers back and we're going to macrame a lamp out of them. So that's basically,
you know what? If they did that, at least we'd get a macrame lamp out of it. At least we'd get to see a macrame lamp.
At least you'd have a macrame lamp. That's true.
So it's so, I mean, that executive action was so fucking infuriating, honestly. It's like the biggest.
Well, that was a pen drop, but over here,
out of screen,
off camera.
So just to reiterate, all the donations tonight. Thank you guys for hanging with us, by the way. And please, there's still plenty of time to share this with friends. Ask them to join us. Come on in. Thank you for the comments. We're highlighting as many as we can. All of the donations in the super chat at youtube.com/moment of clarity. So if you're on Facebook, you got to head over there. All the donations are going to those of you who are struggling out there, who email us at commoncensored@protonmail.com.
You can also, if you're on Facebook or watching this after the fact, you can also donate on Venmo at Lee Camp.
Yep.
And that will get the money headed to the folks that need it.
Yep. And so separately, I thought I'd take a moment for this. This is separate from the donations that we are giving away today. You guys might have heard, and especially if you listen to our podcast, you heard that our Patreon, which does nothing but keep Common Censored going. It's just for our podcast. It's not, I've never claimed to be like scraping by, so it really just keeps the podcast going. And Patreon just fucked us and decreased the revenue from the Patreon donations, from the Patreon members by 75%, almost 100%. Almost all of the donations are gone because they put up little pop-ups saying switch to monthly donations, and so I did it dumbly. I mean, it was like one click of a button, and it's done, and it can never be changed, and it can never be undone, and it immediately takes everybody who is donating per episode, which is 4 times a month, to monthly, which means once a month. They literally decreased all of the donations that we spent 2 years building up by 75%, decreased it by 75%. So we have created a new page on a new platform that may have less of the bells and whistles, fewer of the bells and whistles than Patreon does.
Fewer bullshittery,
but a lot less bullshittery. There's a lot fewer bullshittery. They take almost nothing. There's almost no percentage taken by the company. It's a non-profit. And so when you donate, it's not stolen like it is by Patreon. Patreon somehow ends up taking 30 or more percent. So it's called Liberapay or Librapay.
I do like how you go into a quasi-French accent when you say that.
So it's located in France, but I'm going to type it in here, by the way. It's a librapay.com/LeeCamp.
Thank you, Judith.
And so we are trying to get, if you were a Patreon member, we're trying to get all of our Patreon members to go over.
Thank you, June.
Thank you, June. Thank you, Judith. We are trying, don't laugh at that. We are trying to get all of our Patreon members to go over to librapay.com/LeeCamp. That's libera.com/LeeCamp.
No, Lee, you've missed out the pay. You left out the pay.
PAY.
It's on the screen.
It's on the screen.
Folks. It's on the screen. Okay.
Thank you, Lil.
Thank you, Lil.
But anyway, separate topic. We'll talk about it more on the podcast. But if you were a Patreon member, please switch your Patreon, dump Patreon because they fucking blow, and go to librapay.com/LeeCamp, and you'll see there's details on what it is going on there. And all of the donations, basically almost 100%, go to Common Censored, the podcast, which has no ads, no sponsors. It's not paid for by anybody. And so it all comes from you.
Sorry, Emlil, I'm not sure if I understand the question. But if you'd like to rephrase it, I'd be happy to address. And Cody, if you mean the Liberapay information, we are going to be sending that out. Oh, hold on. I don't know what that sentence is trying to be. We're going to start over.
We got deeper in that sentence before we were like, fuck, it's dark in here and we may die.
Yes. So yes, we're going to include that information in emails that are part of Common Censored. And so, yeah, please keep a lookout for that.
If you want to join our emails, just text the word redacted to 33777. Okay, and Nick is saying abort, abort.
Why not pair character
Yeah,
abort, abort?
Nick, it should have been a pair
Where
character.
are you?
It's a pair character yelling abort.
With night vision goggles on.
Not a Planned Parenthood t-shirt. So.
Oh, I get it.
So what else do you guys want to talk about? Now that I'm a whole half drink in, let's start getting weird with it, right?
I'm almost done with this cup of ginger tea.
That's why.
Because I party hardy.
That's why that sentence ended up so screwed up. The ginger and the ginger tea.
Woo!
This week on Redacted Tonight, I talked about how easy it would be to fucking end homelessness by giving them one of the 3 empty homes that there is for every homeless person. And those numbers actually come from before the pandemic. So really, there's probably far more than 3 empty homes for every homeless person. That doesn't even count office spaces. Doesn't count fucking J.C. Penney's and GameStops. You can give every homeless person a GameStop, all right? You give every homeless person a J.C. Penney. You give them all a Sears, all right? Give each one their own fucking Sears. What do you have to lose? You can give them an empty mall with fucking with the Forever 21, the little guy with a twist in the pretzels in the food court, and the fucking bad orange chicken at the Chinese place. You could have all that shit for homeless people. One gets their own mall.
You need to plug in the commuter link.
Oh, it's gonna die.
It's gonna die.
Okay.
I was trying to be like low key about it, like just pointing at the thing that says your computer will fall asleep soon.
Listen,
but
if you interrupt mid ramp, then everything else is darkness. I can't even see. It's
there's
like
a lot of darkness in this episode, apparently. Also, I'm kind of impressed and saddened that you know what Forever 21 is. Thank you, Bev. Appreciate it. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Bev.
I think Ron Paul is pushing 1,000. Also, I would not vote for him because he might be anti-war, but he's pretty much shite on everything else. Yes, just to reiterate, all of your donations tonight are going back to y'all, and so please do donate here on youtube.com/Moment of Clarity. You can also donate via Venmo at Lee Camp. So what are you looking for?
I'll find it in a second. Keep talking.
It's hard because the comments come quickly. So when you find one that you want and then it like goes by very quickly, it's no, now you're back to the abort.
All right.
You went too far.
I should abort. God damn it.
Where are you?
And I'm wobbling the screen too.
Yeah, you are.
This is a mess. All right.
What were you looking for?
Don't worry about it.
Do you want to share it with the class?
No, I don't.
Okay. I guess not. So yeah, please let us know if there's anything that y'all want to want us to talk about. If there's anything, any burning questions that are applicable to the live stream.
Yeah. And thank you guys for being here.
Or we could just sit in silence together and share that. Actually, you know, I am working on some anti-capitalist meditations because I don't know if y'all have this problem. But
do you guys meditate? You into the meditation? Let us know.
But I didn't like your tone. You sounded facetious about meditating, and I think there's a misconception.
I'm not facetious. I am pro-medi.
A miscommunication or a misconception about meditation.
Thank you, Noli.
Thank you, Noli. And wow, Nick with a super rad offer here. Nick writes, if you want to ask a question but can't donate, send me your question in 150 characters or less, and I'll donate in your name and ask your question.
And by send him your question, I believe he means do at Nick and then put the question, and he'll donate. So that means even if you don't need to ask a question, do it anyway so we can get more donations from Nick.
Gaming our own system here. So yeah. So there's what?
People loving meditation.
Yay. I agree. Meditation is awesome. And there's a misconception that meditation is this like bullshit, the capitalization, the commodification of mindfulness, but actual like deeper meditation is not something that is, a one tactic way of doing it. People do moving meditations. People meditate to fucking metal music, like whatever your particular brand is. Whatever gets you to de-stress and feel more grounded and connected. But so all that to say that I've been creating anti-capitalist meditations because I really fucking hate when you're listening to a meditation. They're like, all the world needs is for you to just put your love out there and we'll all be saved. And you just need to focus on yourself. Just focus on yourself.
Don't do anything. Don't do anything outside
and
of
I'm
yourself.
like, I'm listening to this and I'm like, I fucking hate you. And now I'm more stressed than I was when I started this stupid fucking guided meditation. So
it's almost like most meditations are kind of stoic. Like nothing really matters out there.
Right. And like you have to and it's weird because to me, meditation is to like reassert your connection to yourself and thereby the world around you, because we cannot have a self unless there are others who are also their own selves. You get the sort of mutualism there.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Carol.
And Carol has the record for biggest donation so far.
Woo, Carol. So yeah. I'm working on several meditations that are like the antithesis of like disconnect and fuck the world, because I don't think that's actually helpful. So
I like it. So these would be, thank you, George. So these would be like
thanks, George.
Like you can have an impact. You are powerful. That kind of thing. Instead of just ignore everything, be yourself, and do not try and impact the world.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's cool.
So yeah, working on those.
Also, you are kind of like a great example or something for people who've had trouble meditating, because you haven't really gotten it. I think it's really intimidating for people that think you have to be some sort of yogi sitting in silence for fucking 18 hours with nothing in your brain. And if you fail to do that, then you're a fucking meditation loser. When in fact, like, you have guided meditations. Like there's different ways to do it. It's not just fucking go sit quietly in a dark room for an hour.
There's guided meditation. There's meditating to fucking rainforest sounds, but that usually makes me have to go pee. Then there's like just silence. And well, I'm serious. These are things these are things you learn. And it's really disruptive if you have to piss at like 6 minutes in and you're in like in a 12-minute meditation.
What if you were 3 minutes in and then it turns out it's a prank meditation? It's like, you have to pee right. You really gotta go.
See, that can be your purview, the prank meditations.
All right. This is, I assume, someone commented to Nick to donate.
I say go for it, Zen bloke. Hey, what an applicable name.
Oh, you're talking about independence from Britain? Is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They tried that vote once and they nearly got it. And now it seems like if they were to have that vote again, it would definitely happen. And yeah, I say, why not? If Scotland doesn't want to be part of England, then fuck it.
And while we're at it, fucking give Ireland back too.
Yeah, Northern Ireland.
Yeah. Money conflates wants with needs. Would a different currency without the same overlap be a useful tool? Were you going to say something?
No, if you're going first.
No, go ahead.
So conflates wants with needs. So I agree with you on currency. How does one, I'm not sure one can create a currency that doesn't, because what is creating that problem is capitalism. You could have a currency without having capitalism. You can't have a market system that puts profit above all else, but I don't know how changing the currency exactly would stop that, except I do know Bitcoin does manage to get outside of at least central banks, but that doesn't sound like what you're talking about.
No, but that's actually interesting, and there are a couple of interesting points on this. One is Team Human talks about this. It's a book by Douglas Rushkoff, and
I was hoping it was a team.
And it talks about how Bitcoin is not going to save us because it's really just a different currency, and the overarching system of capitalism is the problem. So a new currency is not going to fix the problem. And I actually talked about this a little bit in my recent Act Out episode that came out on Friday. If you'd like to listen to that, podcast. I was getting there. That's my podcast, and it's available on iTunes, on Spotify, and Stitcher. But I talk about this push and pull of trying to commodify things that are inherently not commodifiable. So, and that push and pull and how difficult it is. But I think that the overarching problem is the system, which is capitalism. And we actually talked about this the other day, like. We talk about how we have a fiat currency in the US after we left the gold standard, but how is the gold standard not also a fiat currency? Because gold doesn't actually have inherent value. We just saw it and we're like fucking squirrels and we're like, oh, shiny. Like you can't fucking eat it. Like, isn't the whole Midas story about this, this in particular? Like, hello.
It's funny that you say we're like fucking squirrels, but in fact, they're much better because they're getting excited about things they can eat.
That's true. And I too.
So their current currency of acorns is actually a better currency because you can eat it when push comes to shove.
That's true. Throw it at people.
But yeah, no, it is funny that they're like dollars is nothing like gold. Gold is intrinsic value because it's shiny. No, but the one difference though between dollars and gold is we can print as many fucking dollars as we want. Gold does have a limit. Now that doesn't mean that tomorrow someone couldn't find 18 tons of gold in some bizarre, geologic formation, I guess. But
or just make it in a lab at this point. I mean, if sheep are giving birth to themselves, I feel like we can actually make some fucking gold in a lab, dude.
I just like the expression giving birth to themselves, which makes it sound like they've got their head like up in them at the same time. But I think
really deep commentary.
I think she's talking about cloning.
I'm talking about cloning.
I'm noticing I'm translating something.
Just want to handle this question again.
Thank you, Nick, on behalf of Brian.
Thank you, Nick, but I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Let me go in order.
All right.
Okay. So vote third party. I think that these kind of state initiatives are good in a sense because it brings the issue of universal health care to a larger platform where even, corporate media and shit are talking about it. But the problem with, and there's some great interviews and commentary about this, particularly if you check out healthoverprofit.org, there's some great information there about universal healthcare and why it really needs to be on the federal level. Because while states can handle certain things and make certain healthcare more accessible without the overarching federal regulation, the way that our system is constructed, it's not going to do enough. But yeah, Nick, Brian vis-a-vis Nick. Yes. How do communities start an internet co-op? This is a great question and one that I don't have an answer to because, I'm an analog person, but, I know that there are cities that have done it. I'm struggling to remember the name of one. Maybe somebody can help me.
It's in Tennessee. If you're talking about community broadband, if that's what they mean by internet co-op. But it's funny because even ask this question, it's like we as in the Americans with our tax dollars built the infrastructure that these cable companies are now exploiting in order to gouge us. So, and to control the airwaves or the internet, the series of tubes. And so it's funny because politicians don't want you to remember that we actually did get involved together as a community, as Americans, to fund the development of this infrastructure, along with the development of the internet, because it came through the military. So that is
the vaccine.
Also our tax dollars. And so we come together and we create these things, and then private entities come and take them over and fucking gouge us and exploit us and extract us and fuck us. And so it is like, I mean, they don't want you to know that this actually came from us. It came from our tax dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. And the same thing goes with healthcare. We pay for the R&D that goes into new medicines,
right?
And then the big pharmaceutical and insurance companies they double dip. Yeah, other side of the same coin. Good point.
Detached from the same mechanism. Sorry.
Oh.
But with different rules, but with a currency with different rules. I don't think that, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think the problem is the currency in terms of what you're talking about. Now, the problem with central banking could be the currency, but in terms of what you're getting at, I don't think it's currency. I think it's capitalism, so you could have dollars in a system that is not capitalist. So
and
it's not the currency.
I can't remember which town this was in the UK that had they had David Bowie dollars and shit.
There's areas in Montana that have their own currency.
Oh, okay.
There's cities.
So basically, thank you, Chuck, and thank you, Dan. And yes.
I don't. Anyway.
So yeah, there are towns and city that have these their own personal currencies, which is kind of like a Bitcoin situation, but it doesn't really address the underlying problem, of course, which is capitalism. So
we love all the comments. Thank you guys. Keep them coming in. If we get $75 in the next 10 minutes. These are all, by the way, all the donations, all the proceeds are going to people in need. We read you some of the thank yous earlier. The people send us descriptions of what they need, and people are on really tough times, and you can do that if that's you. commoncensored@protonmail.com. But if we get $75 in the next 10 minutes, we will stay an extra 10 minutes until 8:10. You cool with that? Can you make it?
Well, now that I have to say yes.
You can say no.
No, I can't. Worker co-ops, thank you, wit to wit. By the way, I just love saying that because it just
wit to wit.
Wit to wit. It makes me very happy. Thank you.
That's good, yeah. But it also reminds me of the Seinfeld scene where he goes, "Hi, I'm Wick. Wick, 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 Wit, Wit, Wick, Wick. Your name's Wick." It's amazing scene.
Worker co-ops are big in Italy. Oh, and I always forget the name of the one in Spain that Richard Wolff talks about constantly. It's the biggest co-op in the world.
That I don't know.
It's a fucking huge worker co-op, and it's been.
What is Adidas?
Lee, the table with the microphone.
But I was playing Jeopardy.
That's not how you play Jeopardy.
Oh. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Christine. So I lost my train of thought.
Biggest
Mondragon, thank you.
Oh my god.
I love y'all you're just
I can't
so
slap
there.
the desk, but you can scream that in my ear.
Yes, because my screams are not causing the vibrations of the table to hit the microphone in a very unpleasing way. Come on.
We're at 30.
Thank you.
We're at 35 out of the 75, by the way.
Yeah, Mondragon's that co-op that is just totally rad. And yes, love Richard Wolff as well.
The largest co-op in America is a health services or health devices or something.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you, Nero. Thank you, Volante.
I'm not keeping up.
And they have thousands of employees, and it's kind of meant to be top secret because the mainstream media doesn't want to talk about the fact that a co-op could be that big in America. Worker owned, meaning they vote on how things go, and they're not going to outsource their jobs to another country. They're not going to decrease their benefits. They're not going to fuck themselves, which is what happens when you live or work in a totalitarian structure of corporate America, which is most corporations. Thank you, Shane.
Nero, to answer your question, this is
thank you, Judith.
This is a very good question. I think that one of the things that would need to happen is that a lot of countries would have to come together and in coordinated action and the petrodollar, because as we've seen, when it's just one country that does it, they are shortly thereafter invaded. So
it's coincidence.
Coincidence, right?
Total coincidence.
Yeah. So it would need to be a concerted effort, but I think this is something that I think we've talked about in the past too. It's if all of these countries came together and said, you know what, the U.S. dollar is not the reserve currency anymore. Fuck y'all, you're monsters. That would be a hell of a press, right? And so
thank you, Witwit.
If there was actually some legit pushback from the global community in terms of not just the petrodollar, but in terms of like the U.S. government's horrific economic warfare. I mean, I think there's no easy answer, right? So it's
Thank you, M. Lil.
It's hard.
And by the way, someone commented that about Rockfin. Yes, thank you for the donations of Rockfin. Those will go to the same cause. I can't monitor 17 sites at once. Also, we can't highlight the Rockfin comments. Unfortunately, Rockfin doesn't allow, doesn't connect with StreamYard so that for the comments. So we can't highlight Rockfin
It's okay.
donations.
It's okay.
So we're doing the best we can. Just know that. Thank you, old unshaven one.
And Nick, thank you for being the calculator here. Because if anybody's watched the previous episodes, we are not good at the maths.
Damn it, Nick! If you hadn't told them, we could have keep bringing in money. No, that's cool.
No, we're here for another 20 minutes.
We will be staying another 20 minutes. Yes.
So, yeah.
Keep it going. Thank you for the comments. Your comments are fucking brilliant.
Yes.
Oz Whistles is saying the US dollar is in decline.
Yeah.
It's in decline both because our empire is in decline, and also when you print trillions of dollars and just keep printing it and stealing it, sending it to your friends at Wall Street, then you're bound to end up with a monetary system that is not doing so well.
Yeah. So I think, how much do you love AC? Well, let me tell you, as a Nordic person, I love air conditioning because
AOC.
No, I'm not answering that second question because it's a pointless question. It's a trick question because I can't imagine anyone loving AOC. So
I love it.
I really love AC.
You thought they were just saying like, how about air conditioning? Oh, let me tell you about air conditioning.
I could wax poetic about AC all day long because fuck the heat. I was not made for the age of global warming. That's not my jam. Not necessarily socialist, but I agree that the only way for us to address this is to build a better future for sure and get rid of capitalism as a structure for sure.
Then someone else changed it to AC/DC.
Yeah. I'm fully on board with AC/DC and AC. Big fan of both of those. Let me just say. Although I have to say,
check out Eleanor's old band Rooftop Revolutionaries. Although there is a new album coming up soon.
Not with Rooftop Revolutionaries.
No, new album, just Eleanor, and it is. I'm not going to give away anything, but it might be one of the perks over at liberapay.com/leecamp.
Maybe, yes. So what about Fish? No. I mean the band, not the food.
The food.
All about it.
She's Swedish. She's all about it.
But the band, not my cup of tea. You know what? If it's yours though, totally cool. Thank you, Adam.
Appreciate you, Adam.
Appreciate it.
Would you qualify you as a headbanger? I would qualify you.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly used to be. As you get older, though, I got to say the neck.
It's tough on the neck.
Yeah, in your 20s, it's like fuck it. I'll headbang and then I will go mosh and then I will carry gear at 4 a.m. and I will be spry, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at 9 a.m. the next morning.
Oh man, Marilyn Manson did some good music. Also assaulted and abused women.
Yeah, not great.
Unfortunately,
not great. Ooh, rainbow trout.
Another one bites the dust. Where are you
Queen.
Looking? Did you just yell rainbow trout? Thank you, Sean.
No, you said another one bites the dust. That's Queen. Freddie Mercury was fucking incomparable. And then somebody said that there was excellent rainbow trout here in the next few weeks, which I'm excited for them. That sounds amazing.
I feel like you reversed engineered that comment.
No, I didn't. I really like Fishbone. I actually did some tech work for Fishbone. And did you know this was the first time that I ever worked like side stage with a theremin? Those things are fucking bananas. I built one once.
What does Fishbone have to do with the comments you've highlighted?
No, it doesn't.
Oh. I was like, all right, we have lost the thread. We have totally.
Sorry, I was highlighting. Okay, you know what? In my head, it worked. Okay, in my head, everything was.
In my head, it worked is the name of this episode.
In real life, it's questionable. But you know what? Up here, it's all put together.
Got it.
Yes, thank you so much, Sean.
This is actually one we disagree on. Someone else asked.
Thank you, Vicky.
I should find out who, but someone else asked. Oh, there it is. Nope, can't find it. Thank you, Vicky. Anyway, someone asked about first Larry. Yes to the Doors. Love them. One of my favorites. Someone asked, what do you think of Pearl Jam? I like Pearl Jam. Eleanor does not.
I'm going to move to this question. Vote third party. What do you think about boycotts? Are they effective? How many people have to participate to make them effective? That's a great question. And I think that boycotts are quite effective if they can be, basically it depends on scale, right? So if we were going to boycott, let's say right now there's a boycott of a certain restaurant happening in DC that has 2 locations. If you're listening to this and you live in DC, don't go eat at Bowtie because they're treating their workers horribly. And so
I was unaware.
I know it's a bummer. So on that scale, you can actually cause quite a bit of you can have a good
Disruption.
you can cause disruption because they only have 2 locations. And so this spreads across the community. You can get some serious traction. But let's say it's Amazon, and then you had the same amount of people. Let's say you had like 500 people that were like, fuck Amazon. That's not going to cut it, right? Because Amazon is just too ginormous.
Yeah.
And it really has a monopoly on a lot of things. So I think it depends on scale, right? And I think that the other problem with the Amazon issue is that, for instance, there are folks, well, I'll use Walmart as an example. I never shop at Walmart, but when I was in West Virginia a couple of years ago, I had to go to Walmart because it's legit the only fucking store in certain parts of the entire state. So if you want to eat, you're going to have to go to a Walmart.
I would only go there to take a dump.
The aisle.
When I was in the children's aisle, because you want to fuck them up young.
Well, come on. If it's shit in the children's aisle, no one's going to notice that.
It's a fair point.
So I think there's also there's an issue there with the ability to partake, right? I think that it's great that, the folks who can boycott Amazon or boycott Walmart do so, but there are a lot of people who can't because these places have decimated their communities and they have no other option. Very true. So yeah, I think it depends on scale and it depends on accessibility. And I think that so I think basically the long story short, localized boycotts, I think, are still very powerful. But when you get above that, there has to be other tactics. There have to be other tactics employed.
How do you respond to this accusation, Eleanor?
Oh, I thought you were legit highlighting something that said, like, shave your head, you fucking hippie.
Katie Albert's an old friend of mine. We came up together in New York when I was but a young lad.
I would love to go on Katie Halper's show. I believe I emailed her back when the film came out, but I didn't hear back.
Oh shit! The SmackDown has
I wasn't
been
a SmackDown.
thrown.
I know people get busy, but I'm just throwing it out there. It's not like I don't want to go on her show. I just,
Katie.
Okay.
For those who are listening,
this is not going to become a.
Get this to Katie.
All right. Everyone calm your shit. All right. Yes. Okay.
The fuck is... All right. I can't.
Sometimes
the comments leave me wondering. All right, guys, we got 10 minutes left. Can we get $75 for those in need in the final 10 minutes? For those who are just joining, and there's still time to share this, by the way, for those who are just joining. And also, if you are watching this later, which I know a lot of you watch this when it's not live, you can still donate to this same cause by sending it to Venmo at Lee Camp and just put, donation in the title or whatever. But I'll know what it's for anyway. But yeah, so all of these donations, all the proceeds are going to people in need. We read you some of their thank yous in the beginning of this live stream, and we will do it again next week. And if you are people in need, if you are someone in need, please email comments@protonmail.com. As we've said, this is not millions of dollars, so we're sorry we can't buy your house back for you from an aggressive big bank shithead. But if you need $100 or less, then hopefully we can help you out.
And that reminds me, there is a bunch of things.
Thank you, Noli.
There's a bunch of stuff that we can't help folks with. For instance, somebody emailed and asked us if we could help finding a job. Wow.
Someone also wanted us to spay or neuter their cat, which not down.
Someone emailed and asked if we could help them find a job, and that's something we don't have capacity to do. But I will say that if you check out mutualaiddisasterrelief.org, they've got a list of mutual aid organizations across the country, and a lot of mutual aid networks are helping people locate jobs, locate housing, things like that. So that's another good place to look. I wanted to highlight this question. Daniel, what's your opinion on the obsession of Americans with American politics instead of international movements? I'd say it depends on which Americans you mean are obsessed, because I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that Americans are isolated in how we are programmed, right? Like when I grew up in Sweden, we learned a lot about the US. We learned a lot about, we learned Swedish history, of course, which was warped. But we learned a lot about world history, and it actually was world history, not like world history in the US, which is like world history through the lens of the United States. So I think that people in the US are programmed to view America as exceptional. And the other side of that is there is not a lot of interest and intellectual curiosity that is not supported. People don't.
Thank you, Aaron.
People don't highlight it and pedestal it as a good thing. And part of that then is also travel. And so people are not, they're told that it's not interesting or important to travel. It's also hard to travel because not just monetarily, but also because of the lack of access to any time off, any paid time off compared to other countries where that's possible. And I also think that, if you would compare it to other countries where maybe people don't have access
Thank you, Lucy.
To travel that much either, I think the problem is that the US is still an empire. It's the world's largest empire. And I think that unfortunately what the US does reverberates across the world. Whereas, speaking as a Swede, what Sweden does not typically reverberate across the world. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't. I'm just saying that the actions of an empire have ramifications that cause the people who live there to think that it's all about the US. So I think there are a lot of things at play here, but I do agree with you that Americans are typically not interested or not engaged with or educated about what's going on elsewhere. And this is also on purpose, right? Because there could be a lot of great ideas and inspiration and solidarity that's built across borders that doesn't happen because people are constantly looking within the borders of the United States. But I think that, the answer to your question is multi-layered, and I think it's a little difficult to kind of break down to like one or two things.
Well said. I don't feel like you left anything unsaid, unfortunately.
I feel like I did.
I was hoping I could jump in there, but
and I'll probably wake up at 4 a.m. and tell you exactly what that is.
Thank you, Aaron.
We got 6 more minutes, folks.
Feel free to give us topics you'd like to discuss in the last 6 minutes.
I agree with you, Nero. When Olof Palme was assassinated, that marked the end of Sweden's push to the left.
All the proceeds are going to people in need, and thank you so much for the donations. I think we're at maybe $15 out of the 75 I was hoping to get in these last few minutes. Just saying. I'm pulling the old Jewish guy thing.
Wait.
Not that if it's a problem,
like
if you happen to care,
right?
If you care, yeah.
But what's his name? Ben Cross. David Cross. David Cross has a joke about this. I guess it's like a Whole Foods brand called If You Care. Yeah. Like that's literally what it's fucking called. And he has this great bit about like, the logo should just be a sad looking rabbi that's like, you know what? If you can, if you don't, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine if you want to destroy the planet. But if you can,
if you can,
and that's what Lee's doing now. So if you can.
Wow, I already lost it.
I
like how quick the comments are coming. I like how quick the comments are going. Coop wants me to talk about the secret to growing good weed. The secret is you got to sing to it every morning from 8 to 9 a.m. I've never grown weed, and I actually don't prefer the weed, so I know very little about weed.
It just actually doesn't do good things to us. We have the same reaction to weed actually, which is like not good. So we don't.
Thank you, Shoreline.
Thank you. So we don't do well on it, but there are some great growers books out there if you're interested. So unless that was a sarcastic comment, in which case, haha. Shane, how can I donate? You can donate by going over to youtube.com/momentofclarity, or I'm getting there. Let me clear my throat.
Whoa. I need some sort of like the catcher's helmet. I need the catcher's helmet.
You can Venmo at Lee Camp as well. And all of the donations are going to y'all. So this sort of community mutual aid system that we got going here. So
solidarity, not charity. We're all in this together, and money can go fuck itself, man. Well, that's a new T-shirt I'm going to start selling. Money can go fuck itself.
Except the money that you guys are donating.
No, but we're but I mean we're evening it out. We're everybody benefits.
Thank you, Don. Any favorite political music or bands? Interestingly enough, just before we started the live stream, we were listening to Rage Against the Machine.
Yep.
So that's an easy one that just jumped off the top of my head.
It's cliche, but it's true. I don't think they'll actually be something as mainstream like them maybe ever again until we stop corporate America. Because I think they were the last that could get that successful, meaning full frontal political band that could get that successful, because they did it starting initially from college radio, which was not owned by corporate America yet. And so it was like this kind of loophole where they got through, and now I think it's kind of been shut down.
Also, Billie Holiday, I think Strange Fruit is one of the most fucking powerful songs ever.
Thank you, BK.
And the fact that she sang it when she did, and then proceeded to be
whoa, Nick just
proceeded
blew
to be
it up.
Totally no, wait.
Not demonetized.
No, demonified?
Demonized?
Demonized. Wow.
Demonified?
Y'all, God. No one's gonna believe me that I don't smoke weed.
This list of comments really is behind. I'm looking for Nick's.
What did Nick do?
Oh no, it's up there. Where the fuck?
What did Nick do?
Donate $50.
Did I get a pair?
$50. You got a pair.
I got a pair. Oh my God, where's my pair?
I'm working on it. Okay, here we go.
Yay! Pair character wanting to donate to help other pair characters and their humans through this rough time. Question Lee. No, it was.
Oh, I thought we were high-fiving.
Okay.
What's wrong with the high five?
All right, there's nothing wrong with a high five. I wasn't expecting it. Answer the question.
Okay. Are you going to be at the DC Comedy Fest this year?
Is there one?
Okay. First of all, is there still a DC Comedy Fest? I thought it ended.
Well, you mean like even pre-pandemic?
No, I thought it ended a couple of years before the pandemic. I actually came and did it.
Thank you, BK.
Before I moved here, so I did the DC Comedy Festival before I moved here. But so the answer clearly is no. However, that's not to say I would never do a DC Comedy Festival. I don't know of one going on right now, and clearly they have not asked me to be a part of it. But I don't know. I mean, we're still in this. But I know people want to open up. They want to get back to the way things used to be to some degree. And the truth is, like, I got emailed by the comedy club in London. Some of you may be in London. We had a great show there.
Yeah,
you fucking killed it that night. We had a great show there, but and they were like, hey, keep us in mind for the upcoming tour or whatever. And
you're like, are we doing that?
I was like, you're in mind, but I don't like. There's variants of the COVID,
That are from Britain, by the way.
Yeah, it's your fault, motherfucker.
No, I'm just.
But so yeah, I was like, I can't plan dates to perform when that shit's going on.
Yeah, it's
and DMT might be a bit much right now.
I would try it. Not
like
during
now?
the live stream.
They
didn't say now. It was an open-ended question. I would try it.
Oh man, where's this comment going? Thank you, Aaron.
Oh my God, it's so amazing, isn't it? I saw it after I'd met him, and he looks like such a baby. Oh.
I was in Law and Order SVU when I was,
he was a suspect.
I think 24, 25, something like that. Back when I actually was going out on acting auditions. And yeah, I think I had 3 lines, but it did include me having my head drilled into a car while Chris Maloney, is that his last name, held a gun to my head. So that was fun.
Yeah, so he was doing you were doing the police brutality thing before you even became an activist. That was maybe that's why. Subconsciously.
I know.
Ooh.
I wish my line had been like fucking pigs, but it was not.
No, it's super adorable. Yeah, if y'all can find that, I don't remember the name of it, but it's amazing.
Intoxicated.
He's got short hair.
The episode's called Intoxicated.
He's got short hair and no beard. He looks like a totally different person.
Okay, guys, we're going to wrap it up, but you have been amazing. We will let you know next week of the people that got these donations, let you know some of their comments, some of their thank yous. This has been awesome. If you're watching this later, feel free to donate via Venmo at Lee Camp. For those who don't know, Venmo is an app. And it's easy to donate there as well. Also, we are switching the Patreon for Common Censored over to liberapay.com/LeeCamp, LIBERAPAY.com/LeeCamp. You'll see it there. We list the various tiers and things, but
we'll be sending out emails about this. So.
Much better than Patreon. 100% of the donations go to the podcast, go to helping keep it going, and
they don't take a cut. They don't take Patreon.
They don't take a cut. So it's incredible. It's a nonprofit. It's amazing.
Yeah. So thank you all so much for these donations. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you all stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you next time.
Keep fighting.
Act out.